Abe and Selma will fall in love, but Homer and Patty will do everything to prevent that from happening, but it's useless because they end up getting married anyway. It's Homer's worst nightmare come true.
A bear is eating my father!
I'm Selma.
For the couch introduction, this time a map of Springfield burns and the family appears riding horses. Homer has a surprise for the family. A new, extravagant games room in the basement, decorated with a pinball machine, a ping pong table, and other luxurious items. Marge, who knows her husband's wallet is drier than the Sahara Desert, asks how he managed to afford all these expenses. Homer, puffing out his chest, says he has a plan, and they'll never have to worry about money again. But, knowing Homer's abilities, we're aware he isn't the sharpest tool in the shed, and chances are he's messed things up once more. The balding man has decided to declare bankruptcy, believing this will rid him of his debts, and attends his hearing with Judge Constance Harm. However, his optimism quickly fades when the judge tells him, "Listen, idiot, those bankruptcy laws you read about have changed, and under the new rules, you'll need to pay back every single dollar you owe." Not content, the judge quickly assigns him a financial advisor to review his accounts. Back at home, Homer desperately searches for ways to reduce family expenses. While they go over the budget, they realize he has numerous unnecessary expenses. Homer, for instance, spends thousands of dollars a month on wishing fountains.
Of course, you idiot, 'cause I'm wishing for more money!
3 Vanity Fair subscriptions, and $500 a month on TotalPoker.com. Well, that's Marge's expense. It seems she enjoys a bit of a gamble. Later, they decide to cut out the most costly and unnecessary expense, deciding to pull Abe out of the retirement home. Without much thought, Homer concludes that the best solution is to bring Abe back to live with the Simpson family to save money.
There, to save gas, I'm Flintstoning the car.
Marge isn't entirely convinced about this decision, but Homer insists on the financial benefits. The downside, however, is that the luxurious activities room in the basement is now officially occupied. No longer just a games room, but also Abe's new bedroom, which he decorates with old, outdated paintings. Meanwhile, Bart and Lisa, who were banished from the games room, find a new way to entertain themselves, inspired by their neighbor, Ned Flanders, who tells them about the possibility of receiving complimentary shipping boxes from a delivery company called American Shipping Services. The kids decide to give it a go. Meanwhile, the adults in the family have a bigger problem. Living with Abe isn't easy for the Simpsons, and the first few weeks are far from pleasant with the old man in the house, especially since they have to put up with him storing his medicines in the fridge, among other things. With his stubborn nature and many cranky old man quirks, Abe seems to have an innate talent for creating awkward situations, even to him sleeping in the main bed with them, when the musty-smelling old man is scared of sleeping alone. Homer and Marge decide it would be good to get out of the house for a bit and have a date night, as it's been some rough few days, and going out to eat for one night isn't going to save much money anyway, so they leave Grandpa in charge of babysitting. Marge, not fully trusting Grandpa's childcare skills, decides to take an extra precaution and calls her sister Selma to stay over and keep an eye on the old man. During the night, something unexpected happens. Abe and Selma, who initially didn't have the best relationship, end up discovering that they have something in common. Both feel lonely and disconnected from love life. The strange part happens soon after, between glasses of wine, lemon sweets, and a few flirty remarks from the old man. No one could have anticipated this. Cover your eyes and ears. They end up kissing with such passion, it's like something out of Pretty Woman, and to their surprise, or better yet, everyone's surprise, they begin to fall for each other. But it doesn't stop there. Just at that moment, Homer and Marge walk in to witness the scene.
A bear is eating my father!
I'm Selma.
Ah! A talking bear is eating my father!
Unsurprisingly, Homer is not pleased with the sight, as we know he despises Patty and Selma. Bart and Lisa order an excessive number of cardboard boxes, which soon arrive. With a stack of boxes piled up in the yard, they decide to build a huge cardboard fort, an improvised castle in the back garden, sort of like Disney's, but without all the colours and screaming kids around. Next, we see the weird couple deciding to continue, going out and see where that takes them. And we see them happy in several dates. They're not exactly getting up to anything, but Grandpa's heart has finally had enough, and Selma has to perform first aid on him. Homer, sulking, tries to explain to Marge that he's upset about this situation. He'd now have to call Selma Mum, but Marge seems pleased with her sister's new romance and doesn't see any issue with it. Meanwhile, the lovebirds seem to be enjoying their relationship like teenagers. Desperate, Homer decides to enlist the help of Patty, Selma's twin sister, who isn't too thrilled about the relationship either.
Who are you in love with, Bart?
Look, if you want to break up,
Far from the adults' troubles, the fort becomes Bart and Lisa's new pastime, and they spend hours playing and reinforcing their cardboard structure. However, the delivery man shows up furious upon seeing they've used so many boxes for their games and demands they return them immediately. Bart and Lisa refuse. After several warnings, the delivery man finally leaves, but warns them he'll be back with reinforcements if they don't comply. This will be a truly an epic battle. Homer and Patty, despite despising each other, unite for a common cause to split up Abe and Selma. Together, they devise a plan that involves Homer pretending to be someone else, while Patty simply has to impersonate her sister by copying her hairstyle and outfit. Patty dresses up as Selma while Homer transforms into a supposed Spanish heartthrob named Esteban de la Sexface. And bro, Homer is literally kissing Patty. Wow. But everyone knows he's not cheating on Marge because he's disguised, so it doesn't count. However, the plan goes awry when the real Selma arrives at the last moment and catches them in the middle of their ploy.
Dos Selmas? Ay, ay, ay!
Let's just say Homer kissed the twin for nothing. Outraged by Homer and Patty's manipulation and deceit, Abe makes a drastic decision. He proposes to Selma to spite his son. Despite the chaos caused by their sabotage attempt, Selma accepts the proposal, and the pair marry shortly thereafter. Abe and Selma move in together, determined to build a life despite Homer and Patty's disapproval. They move out together. Unfortunately, married life turns out to be tougher than they expected. Abe, now retired and jobless, spends most of his time at home telling war stories to the baby, while Selma has to take on the role of breadwinner and look after two beings who both wear nappies. Finally, the delivery man's threats materialize. The next day, he returns, but this time he's not alone. He's recruited an army of delivery men, all prepared to besiege the Simpson fort. Told you this is going to be epic. The delivery team, arranged in an almost military formation, gets ready to attack. Their leader grabs a cardboard box, tilts it over his head, showers himself in packing peanuts, and shouts his battle cry, "For the Brown Empire!" With that signal, the battle begins. Bart and Lisa, determined to defend their fort at all costs, improvise their own defenses. First, they throw cardboard tubes to trip up their opponents, then use cardboard squares as ninja stars, just like Naruto, hurling them towards the delivery men. The situation quickly worsens as the delivery team prepares a siege ladder to breach the fort. Lisa refuses to surrender, wraps the leader in tape, and topples the ladder, halting their advance. These kids are truly little devils, but the enemy is strong. Amidst the chaos, Nelson surprisingly appears and joins Bart and Lisa to defend the fort. Armed with two large cardboard tubes, he charges against the deliverymen, fighting to keep them out. Nelson's help proves a crucial reinforcement, as, with his aid, the children manage to hold off the delivery army for a while. The battle escalates when one of the deliverymen arrives, mounted on a massive red dragon, like a scene straight out of Game of Thrones, adding a new and menacing enemy to the clash. Bart and Lisa, determined not to give up, continue battling the deliverymen as they try to destroy the cardboard fort. Bart discovers he can use a cardboard tube as a makeshift catapult and starts launching various objects at his enemies, including bricks, wasp nests, egg cartons, and even Snowball, the family cat, in a desperate attempt to hold them at bay. Finally, after a hard fought and this absolutely epic battle, the delivery army retreats, defeated and humiliated by the fierce defense of the Simpson siblings and their ally. However, just after their victory, Bart and Lisa quickly lose interest in their cardboard fort. In a fit of boredom, as if the battle had never happened, they decide to destroy it entirely, soaking it with the garden hose until the cardboard boxes dissolve. The final scene of this epic showdown shows the red dragon lying lifeless on the ground, with what appears to be Nelson's cardboard tube sticking out of its body, showing that it has fallen heroically in battle. Away from the children's games, we see Selma at her job as a manager at the department, which is becoming increasingly stressful, with her days more exhausting. Abe, meanwhile, finds himself with little to do and decides to try helping around the house. His inexperience and clumsiness with household chores cause total mayhem. That day, feeling inspired and full of life, he decides to make breakfast, but without any idea how the appliances work, he begins experimenting. He tries making pancakes, but instead of using a frying pan, he places the batter mix in the CD player, thinking they'll cook that way. When he realizes the machine doesn't work, he moves on to another recipe and tries making a smoothie. However, instead of using the blender, he sets the glass on the hob and turns it on. Later, when he wants to watch a movie, he puts the VHS tape in the microwave, thinking it's a video player.
Yes.
causing an explosion that leaves the kitchen in ruins and filled with smoke. Shortly afterwards, Abe grabs the baby and rushes to Selma's workplace for help, interrupting her in the middle of a stressful meeting. That evening, after a tiring day at work, Selma confesses to Abe that she feels overwhelmed and is starting to doubt their future together. Abe, initially not quite grasping the gravity of the situation, tries to cheer her up by reminding her of the good times they've shared, suggesting they dance like they did in the old days. Though hesitant, Selma agrees, and they share a nostalgic dance in the messy kitchen. Meanwhile, Homer and Marge are looking to have an intimate moment after everything that's happened, attempting something a bit different this time. Homer pretends to be a lover, sneaking into Marge's room while her husband is out, but he takes the role a bit too far.
I must flee! Where is he? Where is he?
It's safe to say there will be no fun that night. This was a very funny episode. Although it wasn't nice seeing Homer kissing Patty, that's kinda cheating. Just like the time Homer had another family and a baby, which he took care better than his own. If you want to see what happens, click on this video next, but nor before you click on those like and subscribe buttons.